That's it officially, folks. That is the introduction for tonight's show, and I'll be your host, Brent Thomas, here on the Paranormal Portal. Welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are doing phenomenally fantastic, and welcome to your weekend. You're one day in, and hope it's been everything you needed it to be. Just thrilled you're here. Thanks for joining me. As always, my name is Brent Thomas. I am the host of this marvelous, magical journey into the strange and unusual. And we got 2 full hours of fun ahead of us. Absolutely uncharted course. Well, we got kind of guidelines, but where we end up, we end up. Tex may join us. I don't know if he's going to or not. If he can, he will. But he had some pretty booked up day, so he might be here. He might throw his hat in the ring, if it were. But in any case, we'll get by either way, because I got a bucket full of fun for you. And we're going to be getting to the news pretty shortly here. And then after that, we're going to get to the Discord question of the week, brought to us by our amazing friend, Mr. Chucky Danger, who's one of the mods and admins. He's one of the admins over at Discord, and he's one of the mods here, and a hell of a guy. So the special thank you to all of our mods and admins. You guys are incredible, and thank you so much for keeping things light and lovely. You guys are doing great. We've got a hell of a community here, and a lot of that falls to those of you who are taking up the mantle to fight the good fight and kick the turds out of the drain, as it were. Appreciate your tenacity and your love and support. So let's see what else we got cooking. We'll get some cryptids as well, plus some more haunted hospital stories in a little bit. So we got a full deck of fun just waiting for us. Oh, thank you, Rachel. Rachel posted the Discord link there. There's still time if you want to go try to answer the question of the week. That is a posting we do on our Discord where we ask you. And Chucky's been the brainchild of all of these questions for quite some time, doing a hell of a job. And thank you so much, Chucky, for that. You're awesome, brother. And he asked a question, and it's our chance to hear what you guys think. There's no wrong answers. There's no, well, this might be stupid, but just say what you think. It's fine. I don't know the answers, and I'm pretty confident there's nobody else you're going to talk to that knows the answers, actually. They might claim they know the answers, but a lot of people claiming to know a hell of a lot about this stuff, but truth be known, nobody knows a damn thing. You are just as much an expert as anybody out there that's calling themselves an expert, because nobody can study this stuff. It just happens when it happens, where it happens, why it happens, and we don't know what's happening. So there you go. I just made that up. It's just right off the top of my head. So anyway, it's a scary place on top of my head, but a lot of strange things going on there at all times. Hello, Yeshua. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Is it Yeshua or Yeshua, or how exactly do you pronounce that? I know it's the ancient name of Christ, of course, Jesus. What we now understand as Jesus, but yeah, Yeshua. I don't know. I always wonder that. Anyway, I'm trying to think anything else I got on the front end here for you guys, but I don't think I do, actually. So we'll just start at it. Hello, Henry Dong. Hello, Rachel Gets It Right. Sharon Sunshine was one of the first ones in the door, but the very first one in the door was T-Bone tonight, I think. Wasn't it? T-Bone gets the gold. Yep, absolutely. I'll start to take that from Dave Scott. I'm kind of ripping off Dave Scott over here. But in any case, T-Bone was first in. Annie Manuel was next. And who was the third? Was it Rachel? Yeah, Rachel was the third one in tonight over on YouTube's The Tubes of You. And so, good for a song, Barbara says. What? I'm very comfortable with the strange and unusual, Barbara says. And she says she loves you mods as well. So, of course, great. Actually, Barbara, I'm going to see. I'm going to mod you, Barbara, over on Rumble as well, because you're always over there. Just remind me to do that. Maybe you too, Car Juice. Maybe we'll just have Mod City over there, moderators. You guys are always over there on the Rumble, and I think Justin Goodearth is. Maybe you already are, Barbara. Are you? Did I already mod you? I don't remember. Anyway, remind me if really, she says really okay, so I must not have. Okay, then really, both of you. Thank you so much for being over there and making sure it's working. Anybody over in Facebook or X, leave us a message. Oh, Jill Decker just comes in and says howdy. At least I know that's working. Thank you, Jill, for checking in from the Facebook. Anybody over on X want to say hello? That way I'll know that's working too. And hello to everybody or anybody over on Twitch. I can't say everybody because a lot of times nobody's checking it out over on Twitch, but we still fly the flag over there anyway because you never know. It might start to pick up steam and it doesn't cost me anything. So I'll put it everywhere. Jill says, no problem. Well, perfect timing, Jill. Thank you. So yeah.
August.
The ghost box says August. I don't know. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear August? Yeah. I mean, you guys are hearing the sounds when it generates sounds, right? Because right now, the way the new setup is working is the Zoom connection doesn't play any of my computer sounds. So when I'm doing the shows, the different transition songs and stuff, whoever's joined on Zoom is not hearing that. Any of it. So they're just listening to dead air, which I have to figure that out. I don't know why it did work on the old system and doesn't on the new one, but we'll figure it out. It's not something I ever set up actively, but it's just the little things, the little glitches that are still in the works that I got to straighten out. Hello, Ruthie. Good to see you. Bill Simone's here. Good to see you. Michelle Wolfong is here as well. T-Bone, as I said. And John Temperin came in. Good to see you, John. Thank you for coming in. And, of course, Chucky is here. God bless you, sir. There's more messages coming, and I'm just going to scroll up to see who I haven't said hello to yet. I like to say them on the front end, and, of course, I say hello throughout the show when they come in, when I see them. Annie Manula is here. Good to see you, Annie. But, yeah, it looks like all of you guys are. Hooking Good Creations by Tina is here. Good to see you, Tina. Thank you so much for coming in and being a part of it. Being a part of the journey. That's glorious. Yeah, Charles Centers is here. How you doing, Charles? Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in. As I'm scrolling up, I saw your name, and by God, that's a new name to me, so thanks for giving us a shot here on the show. Hopefully you like it, and you'll stick around and get subscribed and ring that bell and all that other cool stuff, and maybe even become a member. I'm just throwing it out there. No pressure. No pressure ever to become a member or anything like that, but if you can, that's great. That means the world and helps out a ton, but it's not a prerequisite for being here. Chris Dragons is here. Good to see you, Chris. I saw, Chris, you left a message over on Rumble too, didn't you? I saw that it came up. I just haven't gone over and checked the messages over there, so I will do that. I will respond to you as soon as I can. If I don't forget, tomorrow, actually, Mr. Sheldon Thomas is going to be here at the Portal Studio House, and it'll be good to see him. It's been a long time. Been since the holidays that I've actually seen him. Of course, he comes on the shows on Saturday and helps out, or on Friday rather, and helps out. But it'll be good to see him in person. He's a wonderful boy, wonderful child. So anyway, now I just got to see Oliver, and of course the Minion's always here. Elijah, he's always here. So that's the family tree as I have right now. I don't expect any new branches on that, but you never know. Unless there's sub-branches, which that could happen. I don't know. Anything's possible, but at any rate, this has been my introduction to tonight's show. Hi, Jason Finch. Good to see you. Lane Clifford, good to see you as well. And as more and more of you are coming in, I guess that means we should get busy. Should we get to some news? Find out what's going on in the newsverse. Hello, Deborah Neighbors. Thanks for coming in. Oh, happy Easter to you. Happy Easter to everybody. Yeah, it's wonderful, for those of you that celebrate, absolutely. Or however you celebrate or what you celebrate, because Easter is a formerly pagan holiday. And Ostara, I think, was the pagan goddess of fertility. And her symbols were the egg and the rabbit. And they survive still today. All right. But it's also celebrating the resurrection of the Christ. So, lots of different reasons to celebrate. How you doing, Paul Haywood? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, brother. Appreciate it. Joke for the minion. What did the aliens say to the garden? Take me to your weeder. Where's Sheldon when I need him? He would love that one. Sheldon loves these jokes. He loves a dry joke. That's like the cake and ice cream to that guy. Hey, Chris Jarvis, good to see ya. It's also 4:20 on Sunday. It is, isn't it? Well, I hate to be blunt. Whoa, but it's 4:20 tomorrow too. Thanks for bringing that up, Chris. Appreciate that. Bogart's in here. How you doing? Bogart M. Good to see ya. Thanks for coming in. All right, so I have an old ceramic Easter bunny filled with garlic. What's the garlic all about? I don't know. I don't know what that means. It's probably a lovely ornament. Makes me hungry. No, I'm just kidding. That was some high-class humor. Oh, Chucky, you went there. Might as well keep rolling it. Oh, that was unintentional. You know, you'd swear you'd swear I was some kind of pun genius, but I swear to God, I'm like a pun savant. I open my mouth and they come out. And then I realize that it was a pun after they're already out of my mouth. I don't know how that works. I'm a pun savant. It's not intentional. Those are not active thoughts in my head, believe it or not. They just come out. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but I guess it's a gift. What can I say? All right, let's, oh my God, my twin nephew's B-date too. One is sweet and the other's a bit psycho. Oh, yeah, well, hug the sweet one and Velcro the other one to the wall. That'll work. Psycho kids are scary. Better roll over a new leaf. Oh, Chucky, hell no. He's just rolling it. Again, same pun, but I just meant you had more jokes. It came right out again. I don't know. I'm channeling some pun spirit or something. Oh, God, Chris Jarvis, you need to hash that out into therapy. Holy Christ. To change this name to the Paranormal Bong or something. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Brain puns / buns. I don't know. Are you flirting, Ruthie? No, I'm just kidding. I might need to have some therapy. You're right about that, though. I can't deny that. All right, good one, bud. Oh no, silver tongue, Brent. Let's get some news before I end up eating my shoe here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news, because it is my desire to bring you up to speed to what's going on in the world around us, and I'm sure it'll be news to all of us, including me, and I pulled up the articles, but I do it based on headlines. I don't pre-read this stuff, believe it or not. I really don't. So I'm cold reading it with you, and we're learning it together. So you too, YT is killing it. Yeah, it sure is. All right, let's get to it, folks. Is it a CBD shoe? No, it's not. That was kind of not funny, Chris. You're trying too hard. No, I'm just kidding. That's hilarious. Thank you, guys. Love the Homer Simpson voice. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I wish I got paid for doing that, but there's already a guy that does, Dan Castellaneta. He's already getting paid for it, so all I can do is just be a rough imitation. Say, if I ever hear that, that's not my gas. That's my chair rubbing on my desk. So just so you know, I'm not suffering from severe flatulence over here. It's just my chair rubs on the desk and makes all kinds of weird noises. So I perfectly have total bowel control so far. All right, well, let's get to the news and find out just what the hell's going on. I don't even know. Let's figure it out together. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the news. BLB So Much Jake is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, just the news. The news rules. Yeah. No, I'm serious. I'm not necessarily pooping myself here as I sit here doing a show. I am getting hot, though, and I wore this hoodie again. And I'm regretting it. I even rolled up the sleeves to try to help, but it's not helping. I guess I'm going to have to sweat it out tonight. I don't want to be inappropriate here. Hey, unknown, good to see ya. Brent knows his beansness. What the hell, Annie? All right, here we go. Let's get to the news. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'll be your anchor as we drive through 3 stories of strange things and wonderful things and interesting things, hopefully happening in the world around us. We're going to be utilizing a lot of different sites throughout the course of the show, and please support these sites. Of course, unexplained-mysteries.com is basically the news site, and it's been wonderful. And yeah, they already did. It already said August, Bogart. So August came through probably just before you got here. And then 2 spirits were detected. So some stuff's been happening. I'm surprised I don't have it on this screen. I don't know why. I think I shouldn't I? Let me see if I can add it. Let's see, display capture. Let's see, article screen. Here it is. Let's add existing. Let's see if this works. It didn't. It didn't work at all. No. I'm going to have to redo it. So if you guys want to see the ghost radar on the screen, you'll have to be patient till I can actually configure it. I don't know. I must have missed that on my reconfiguration, so I'll have to work on that. But at any rate, please visit these sites. A name and a date. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. A name of a month and could be a name of a person. Could be in August hanging out with us tonight. Don't know. But your traffic does help keep the lights on these sites. Please support them. There's so much more information and great stuff over there, so please check them out. And do me a favor, if you ever message on their message boards, let them know the Paranormal Portal sent you. I appreciate it. Jokey Rain came in. How you doing, Jokey? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show.
Fact.
It said fact. The ghost box said fact. That's 2 things. Now, the last couple shows, it's been absolutely dead quiet. So a couple words coming through already. We'll have to see if anybody pops up. I should actually turn on this ghost ball. See if that gets triggered throughout the course of the night. I don't know if it'll be on screen for a lot of it, but we'll see. If you see that flashing, let me know, because I'm busy here doing the news. And if you do see it flashing, it's definitely unusual. That'll sit there for hours and days without going off, and then suddenly just go off for some unknown reason. So again, they're cheap little cheesy electronics, so it could be just a glitch, but maybe, just maybe, it indicates a ghostly presence. So if we get both, if it goes off on the ghost box, the ghost radar on screen over here, and also the ball, then that could be something. So if anybody's here hanging out with us, some unseen presence of love and light, if you want, light the ball up for us that I just turned on so people can see you're here with us. I'm just throwing it out there just in case it happens. Wouldn't it be cool if it did happen, like right then? Boom. Hey. Oh. All right. Well, welcome to the show. Anyway, nobody apparently did it, so we'll just continue. Let's get to the first article tonight. This is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, folks. This is an incredible site, and I really hope you support them and check out what they're doing. We'll keep watching for Tex, too. I don't know if Tex is going to be able to show up or not. Hey, Justin Goodearth. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Let's get to the first article. This is coming from Creatures, Myths, and Legends of unexplained-mysteries.com. So let's do this. There we go. I don't think we need the third screen. Don't need that at all. And let me see, articles, zoom capture. That's the zoom. There we go. Might as well just have it like this unless somebody shows up. You don't need to see another picture of me. All right, here we go. This is from Creatures, Myths, and Legends, unexplained-mysteries.com. Bizarre Bigfoot simulation video game lets you live as a Sasquatch. There you go, folks. You can go get into a Sasquatch head by being a Sasquatch. Look at that. That's actually a graphic from the screen. That looks pretty cool, actually. It's called Bigfoot Life. Interesting. What if he's making a structure? Let's check it out. If you ever wanted to roam around the forest as a cryptozoological hominid, now you can. Developed by Planet 47 Games, the game enables the player to become Bigfoot and engage in all types of activities that you might expect a tall, hairy, bipedal, ape-like beast to spend its time on. Catch and eat fish, insects, and other creatures. Notice it did not say campers. It's like what is that game? I don't know. I remember the one where you carjack and you run around and beat up people and steal their cars. I can't remember the name of it, but it's not like that for Bigfoot, which maybe would make it more fun, actually. But anyway, catch and eat fish, insects, and other creatures. Forage the forest for mushrooms, berries, and more. Build shelters to store your items in to get through the harsh winters. Earn extra points by breaking branches and scaring the wildlife. The game has its share of obstacles, too, from Bigfoot hunters who try to take pictures of you to adverse weather conditions. The game, called Bigfoot Life, is the latest example of a highly popular simulator game genre which seeks to simulate things that you wouldn't normally expect to see simulated. I don't know if they cloak. That's a good question. Let's see. One of the weirdest examples, I Am Jesus Christ, is still in development, but aims to enable the player to role play as Jesus, complete with performing miracles and walking on water. Wow. I don't know if I feel good about that or not. I think that's kind of trivializes all of that, doesn't it? There's also a highly popular goat simulator series. What's next? A Loch Ness Monster simulator? You can find all of the above mentioned games on the Steam platform for PC. You can also check out a trailer for Bigfoot Life below. I think we should do that, although I'm probably going to give up monetization on this because there's going to be music, but let's watch the trailer. This is the news after all. Let's see what the hell this is about. Are you ready? Here we go. There goes the monetization. There it goes. See you later. Rock throwing. Ooh, what's that? Healing a bunny. Dummy. Oh, he's booming, man. He's moving. He took a dump. Oh my God. That's hilarious. What the hell was that? I gotta see that again. That's so stupid. Why would they simulate that? It took a big shit. Oh. I've never seen that before. That is so dumb. Here we go. There we go. God, folks. God, that's hilarious. Oh my God. That is so funny. I'm just crying. Oh, dear God. That's hilarious. Oh, man. Just when you thought you'd seen it all. I guess if you're going to simulate it, you got to include stuff like that. Wow, bravo. Oh, shit. That's killed me. That was hilarious. Oh, God. Oh, no. That's so funny. Woof. Ah. Oh, man. That's so funny. I don't laugh like that maybe once a year. And you guys were here for it. Most of the time it's on the show, actually, when something like this comes up. But I didn't expect that. That hit me like a brick. It is a video game. It is available on Steam. It's called Bigfoot Life. I think you guys should check it out. You too could take a shit in the woods. Oh, no. Wow. That is hilarious. That is very hilarious. Oh, my God. Why did they need to put that in there? I don't even know. There it is, folks. It's out on Steam, available for PCs. You want to check it out? Oh, man, that hit me like a brick. It's like, no, that was really on there. Wow. That's hilarious. Oof. I thought I was sweating before. Now I'm just all over. I'm soppy wet here now. Oh, look at this. Look at this last still here. There's like a person there. Don't know if that person's... I hope that wasn't where he took the dump. Hey, check this out. Pull a rabbit out of my hat. Oh, man. That was hilarious. Sorry. I'll tell you what, I found my stride here though. Oof. I didn't expect that. Holy Christ, that's hilarious. I didn't believe they included that. That's so funny. Yeah, I think we all needed that. That's hilarious. Oof. Well, there you go. Good Lord, I'm just all over sweaty now. All right, here we go. I'm doing the sauna version of the Paranormal Portal tonight, so did loosen up my sinuses a hell of a lot, though. Oh, good Lord. All right, well, that's the first article. Check it out from Steam, a platform on PC where you can download and buy games, and apparently it's called Bigfoot Life. Hell, it's looked pretty realistic. Actually, I thought even the speed that he was running through the forest, like, well, now that's really moving. That's pretty cool. So there you go. I don't know. What do you think? Little scat goes a long way. That was not little either. Those were bricks. He was churning out bricks. So I don't know what to tell you, folks. That was completely unexpected, but absolutely hilarious. That was hilarious. Wow. Did not think that I would see that in a video game, but I guess if you're going to simulate it, you got to go for the whole simulation. Hey, I'm Cat. Good to see you, brother. Wow. I haven't laughed like that in a long time, though. My God. Yeah, no, apparently not, Rachel. It just goes right by trees, apparently, or wherever the hell he happens to be. Surprised he didn't have a hole and then, bury it. You mean I missed the poo segment? You did, but just scroll back a little bit. During this video, showcasing this video game, I'm going to put a link to this in the chat. Anybody wants to see more about this, please do. Please do. That was the funniest damn thing I've seen in a long time. Oh, my God. That killed me. All right, there you go. I haven't laughed like that forever. I know it does sound kind of fun, and now I got this new computer with the good graphics card. I could probably I could probably play it. Unfortunately, I would probably be taking time away from doing things for the show, which is what I really should be doing. But I gotta say that looks like, actually the graphics look really, really respectable, all things considered. I mean, is it, VR quality? No, but maybe. I don't know. This is just a little something. You got it right, John. The question is no longer there. They ask us, does a bear shit in the woods? Well, we I don't know, but Bigfoot does. We just saw it. There you go. Wow. That just really slammed me in a hilarious way. But I'm going to have to make a short of that. Unfortunately, that damn music is there. So I'll just have to do it with the music. I don't care. All right. I'm promoting their game. They can give me a break. All right. So anyway, you might have thought you saw it all. Now you've seen a little bit more. I thought I saw it all, but now I've seen a little more. Here we go with the next one. This is coming from the conspiracy files of unexplained-mysteries.com. I got something in my eye. Suddenly, my tear ducts are starting to, obviously working. I was just bawling laughing. I did play it. Oh, yeah, you play the game? Yeah, I know. I don't need to laugh. I love laughing, but I don't laugh that hard. Very, very, very rarely. But God, that was hilarious. Holy Christ. I hurt my ribs. I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. All right. That's funny. Funny as hell. All right, let's get to the next story. Here we go, folks. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Conspiracy files. Weird conspiracy theories surround Blue Origin's first all-female flight. I don't know why this is such a big thing either way. I don't know why people are making such a big deal out of this. It's like, cool, they went right up to the apogee of space. That's awesome. They saw what that looked like. I've never seen what that looked like. I don't know why people are just going ballistic about this. Like, oh, they weren't in space and starting all this crap about it. Who cares? These guys got to go up there. They had the time of their lives. Let them be. Jesus. These people are just crazy about it. And I guess maybe it's a slow news cycle. Like, that's the biggest thing people have to talk about. But honest to God, who cares? Let them have their moment. Everybody wants to strip that away from them. It's like, I would have gone. I would have loved that. So anyway, Katy Perry's recent trip into space has been at the center of a plethora of downright bizarre conspiracy theories, and there was much to celebrate back on April 14th when a crew consisting of 6 women, including singer Katy Perry, Jeff Bezos' fiancée Lauren Sanchez, and former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe, soared into the heavens on the first all-female space mission in over 60 years. After the crew had returned to Earth, however, the flight quickly became the focus of a number of wild conspiracy theories, with some even claiming that the entire mission had been faked. Why? Alleged abnormalities included everything from the door opening mechanism in the capsule to the way Katy Perry's hair looked in zero gravity compared to that of astronaut Suni Williams. Some even claimed to have seen a mannequin sitting in the capsule. If we look a little closer, however, most, if not all, of the alleged anomalies have conventional explanations. The mannequin image, for example, was taken from an earlier test flight in which dummies were used in place of human passengers, not from this week's manned flight. The appearance of Katy Perry's hair can be explained by the fact that she and her fellow crew members would have had their hair professionally styled before liftoff, whereas Suni Williams had spent months in space when she was photographed with her hair sticking up. Excuse me. In other words, there's really no truth to any of these conspiracy theories at all. The controversy in some ways echoes that of the original Apollo 11 moon landing, which remains mired in conspiracy theories to this day. There are even still those who believe that the Earth is flat despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. For now, at least, it seems that conspiracy theories such as these are very much here to stay. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, really, you're going to waste your time on that? Who cares? Let them have their moments. But anyway, I guess if it's that important to some people to find something broken with everything, I guess they can do what they want. But the kind of stuff just irritates the hell out of me. It's like, really, that's what you're going to be upset about? How about people that don't get to eat? Let's focus on that. Let's focus on, things like that, or people that need medical attention and can't get it, whether it's, in our countries or from poor, underdeveloped countries, whatever. There's so much more to focus on than whether or not Katy Perry went to space or how that worked. It's like, who gives a crap? Just let them be. All right, let's get to the next story. This is Extraterrestrial Files of unexplained-mysteries.com. This is the last one for tonight. Strongest ever evidence of alien life discovered on nearby exoplanet. There you go, folks. Nearby. How you doing, Trace, by the way? Didn't really say hello to you, did I? Good to see you, though. It's nice to see you pop up. All right, the James Webb Space Telescope has found strong evidence of life on a planet situated 124 light years away. The discovery of extraterrestrial life on a planet other than our own world would undoubtedly be one of the most groundbreaking finds in human history, an achievement that could change how we see ourselves and force us to take a long, hard look at our place in the cosmos. Now scientists believe that they have discovered the strongest evidence yet of alien life on an extrasolar world known as K2-18b. Such a romantic name. Which is situated 124 light years away. Observations using the James Webb Space Telescope have identified two chemicals, dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide, in its atmosphere. And this is important because these two chemicals are typically only known to be produced by life. While the discovery is extremely exciting, it doesn't quite represent conclusive proof of alien life, though it has been hailed as the strongest sign yet that this alien world has the potential for life. K2-18b itself is around 9 times as massive as the Earth and 2.6 times as large. So it's denser? Is that what that means? I don't understand for sure. It orbits the habitable zone of a red dwarf star, which is around half the size of the sun, and it's the strongest evidence to date for biological activity beyond the solar system, said astrophysicist Professor Niku Madhusudan. At the University of Cambridge. And we're very cautious. We have to question ourselves both on whether the signal is real and what it means. Decades from now, we may look back at this point in time and recognize it was when the living universe came within reach. This could be the tipping point where suddenly the fundamental question of whether we're alone in the universe is one that we're capable of answering. Interesting. I don't know. Again, it's the presence of some gases that I guess usually require life to be, and so maybe. But there you go. That's the last news story for the night. And I hope you found some merit in that. At the very least, you learned about the Bigfoot life game. And I can't think of a better use of news time than that. So let's get back to the rest of the show. Let's get back to this. Wes, did you see that Sasquatch life game? Did you see that part of the news? You got to let me know if you saw that, because I was thinking of you when I read that story. I thought it was hilarious. If not, there's actual game footage of Bigfoot literally taking a shit in the woods. So I thought that was hilarious. It hit me like hilarious. No, you didn't. Oh, okay. Well, check the link in the chat. Well, if you can, I don't know. It's called Sasquatch Life, and it's available on Steam. Apparently, you can rewind. Just rewind. Check it out. It's freaking hilarious. Anyway, it'd be a good addition to the blog, mentioning that game. All right. Let's, do they have a researcher picking up the... I don't know. That's a good point. But you get to harass people in that game, although it doesn't say you get to eat them or carry them away. I don't know, but you get to heal bunnies and stuff too, apparently. So what's not to love? All right, here we go. That would be hilarious. You're right. Okay, this is the rest of the show, folks. We're going to get on to more of it, and we're going to start with the Discord question of the week. And this is a segment we've been doing for a while now, and it's been a lot of fun because it gives us a chance to ask you guys what you think. What do you think? What the hell do you think is going on? We got quite a few answers, it looks like. That's good. Lots of stuff to read. Well, several answers anyway. There's still time if you are still heading over to our Discord. Then by all means, join, and you could probably answer the question before I even get to you. If you want to give it a shot, that's fine. But anyway, this has been championed by our good friend, Mr. Chucky Danger, who is asking the questions every week, and you guys are the ones providing the answers. So thank you for those of you that do participate in this. And if you like the chat community here, you're going to love our Discord. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything to join. And you can continue the conversation that you're probably having here in the chat. A lot of people say, oh, I wish you had a 24 chat channel. And it's like, we do. It's called our Discord. That's where you can go and hang out with a lot of the same people you're hanging out with on these live shows. So go check it out. The Paranormal Portal Discord. Rachel put the link in the chats. I'll put the link over on Rumble as soon as I can here. I got to do this. Try it again. I should probably just get that. God dang it. All right, let me try it again. The chat moved. I should probably just get this on a Word document that I can just paste in here upon need. But the Discord link is now in the Rumble as well, so it's there if you want to join. Feel free. We'd love to have you over there. But this question, well, I guess I should put it up on screen. But first, before we do that, oh, it's not that time yet, but it is time. Let me move this up. Hold on. I got to move this up. I don't think I've used it yet. How is that possible? There we go. It's time for this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Discord question of the week. This is what Discord looks like. It's not real hard. In fact, it's probably one of the most stupid, easy programs you're ever going to use. It's just unusual. It's just unusual in that you got to learn where to find things, how to find things. And so that can be tricky. So once you learn how to use it, it's really pretty painless. And you just click on these threads on the left, wherever you want to talk. Where we're interested in right now is questions of the week. So you just click on that. I should look and see if anybody's joined quick. Looks like... Oh, Open Philosopher came in and joined, so I'm waving to say hi to them. And it's been a few days since I was in here, so I don't know what I've missed. And Paranormal Triage is in here as well, so hello to both of you. Thanks for joining and being a part of our Discord. But here we go, episode discussion. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted question of the week. There we go. Here's the question up on top. This is, been, again, championed by our very own Chucky Danger. He comes up with these questions, and this question of tonight is, recently I've taken a bit of a deep dive into the Djinn. And if you're not familiar with the Djinn, they are basically the basis for the genie mythos or fables, like Aladdin and the lamp and such. They're allegedly magical creatures that predate human creation according to the Quran. Somewhere it mentions they were made of the blue fire, whereas I guess we're made from like clay or dust or whatever. So a little bit different than us. But anyway, recently I've taken a bit of a deep dive into the Djinn. In the lore, there are said to be many types of Djinn. Do you think that Djinn could account for unknown entities that we see and hear about, such as the Hat Man, Black-Eyed Kids, Shadow People, or even doppelgangers? Interesting question, Chucky. Thank you. I don't want to be in that. Okay, Captain Gray came in first. Captain Gray 2000, and Captain Gray's answer was, I think Djinn are unique after seeing so many of them on Paranormal Caught on Camera. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's that's the criteria I would use to validate seeing Djinn or not. I know they catch some weird stuff on camera. Sometimes there's explanations, sometimes there's not, but it's hard to know what we're looking at. If we're looking at a Djinn per se, or if we're looking at any number of other potential possibilities, including negative dark things, which Djinn can certainly be. But that's an interesting take, Captain Gray. Thank you for your thoughts. Patty Troy comes in next, says, I was today years old when I learned Djinn was not pronounced Djinn. Well, how do you pronounce it? I thought that's how you pronounced it. Oh, I think maybe she's talking about the spelling. It's not spelled Jinn, it's DJ, but I think the D and the J are just still Djinn, like that. That's the only way I've ever heard it pronounced. Maggie says there are multiple spellings, Djinn, or genies, all correct. Thank you, Maggie. And Patty smiled. All right, Josh Casto comes in and says, I feel the Djinn are on another level than those, but it is possible. They are scary as hell for sure, regardless. Crazy ancient entity, but who really knows what any of these entities really are? Good question, Chucky. Yeah, exactly, Josh. We just don't know. You know, even if it looks like something, oh, that's a Hat Man. Are you sure? Really? Is it for sure a Hat Man, or it just looks like what you expect a Hat Man to look like? So, again, any of these terms we throw at this stuff is just speculative at best. So, anyway, also Jinny for male singular, Jinya for female singular. Oh, that's interesting, Annie. Thank you. Sparky says yes, as well as elementals. Okay, gotcha. Weird Nerd 42, of course, but I think that it may go further than that. Alien encounters, cryptids, ghosts. Sometimes I think that it's most or all of it. The Reverend Peter Laws said that our terminology can trip us up. Call them Djinn or whatever else. I think most or all, it's the same trickster type phenomena. Could be right, that's for sure. Edit. Well, I don't actually believe this, but I think it's probably true. Given that complete lack of evidence, I don't think the crap shared on TV and YouTube counts as true evidence. And the similarities in many of these stories, eerie silence, smell often of rotten eggs, etc., I'm inclined to think that the possibility is a probability. Yeah, you could be right. There's far more to it than these two things, but this is all I can put down here at this time. Fair enough. Okay, Annie Manul comes in next with her response. Djinn are considered to be people. The Quran is explicit about this. They have free will and personalities. Some are on the whole are good. Some are in between, like most people, and some are bad, like most people. Not most people are bad, but that's just like people are. This leads us to consider why they might be antagonistic towards humans. They've long been considered to be guardians of places. Annoy them on that, and you will have trouble. Others are implacably hostile towards us. There's different explanations for this, but it usually comes down to being followers of the Shaitan Iblis. He and his followers refused to bow down to Adam, as he was second-rate compared to a Djinn. They've been upset ever since. Do these two things make them responsible for many negative paranormal phenomena? Maybe, but it depends, because Islam allows for many interpretations on a subject. They can shapeshift, but it may be limited to only animals. It may be, or maybe not. They can possess people, or maybe not. What they're like can be ascertained, or maybe not. It's up to those whose school of interpretation you choose to follow. Good points. What do I think? That it's correct that Djinn are their own order of life, that they have a subtle body made of matter, they live in a parallel dimension. I think most of them go about their own lives and leave us alone. Sometimes, however, we deserve Djinn harassment because humans did something like loot an archaeological site or bully a human family member. Other times, it's just because they're there. I have to suspect some spectral practical jokes. Then again, some just hate us and will do whatever it takes to upset us. Finally, if Djinn are doing negative things to humans, then it takes the form that culturally fits the victim. This is one reason why there are Djinn stories from Mongolia to Morocco. They're variable in their predation, and they adapt to whatever the local ecology of belief is, Hatman included. Very interesting, Annie. Thank you. That was very comprehensive. All right, JC comes in next, says, it's possible the Djinn have appeared in many cultures throughout time in different forms. In the Bible, for example, it talks about the unclean spirits that roam the earth, and that has also been associated to the Djinn and Nephilim. All I know for sure, never pee under a tree, and when in doubt, check the feet. What is the feet? Now I want to know, JC. I don't know what that means. Very good answer, though. Very cool. Eyes comes in next, says, just another word for funky things we can't explain. You call something 5 different things, and they all mean the same. Well, true. Again, these are just terms of understanding. Nobody can go verify this or validate it. And as far as I know, Djinn don't offer themselves up for interviews very often, so if at all. So there's no way to ask him that I know of. And I'm not trying to ask him for an interview. I mean, unless, they were bored and wanted to be on the portal, then I guess that could be a great episode. But anyway. 3M Farm says, my opinion, I don't think they could be all those things. I think Djinn are powerful entities. I think the Hatman and Shadow People are less powerful. Maybe Black-Eyed Kids could be. I think doppelgangers are the Fae. Oh, interesting. Yeah, could very well be. Rachel 101 comes in and says, I think the Djinn are their own people. The others are also maybe not a society, but facets of the unknown that we are privileged to have small glimpses of at moments of time. Very good points. Thank you, Rachel. John T says, I try not to think about these things. Seems too much thought manifestation happens. Karen Alberting comes in and says, I have, of course, heard of the Djinn, but that's about all I can say. That's about it. So I cannot come up with even a somewhat partially intelligent anything about this subject. So it's a non-starter question for me. Sorry. But still, that's an answer. I mean, you're absolutely right, Karen. We just don't know anything. So every answer is just as valid as any other one. But I do appreciate you answering and taking the time to at least answer. The Unknown says, no. That's it. No. Fair enough. I mean, the question was, do you think? And you said no. So, no, I mean, you didn't say that. But anyway, I didn't mean to crap on your answer and make it sound stupid. I meant that you answered the question. It was, do you think that it could be these things? And you said no. That's perfect. All right, Sasquatch Chronicles comes in. I got it kind of chopped off here. And answering Chucky's question, he said, it's a SpaceX rocket releasing a satellite in its orbit and dumping fuel, which is procedure. Oh, I think he's referencing the other question of the week. Okay. The gigantic spirals. Yeah, I think so too. I think most likely there's plenty of terrestrial explanations for the gigantic spirals. But Trace Linnell comes in and says, one can always tell a Djinn in your dreams. They do not speak and are super creepy. If you talk first, they will respond with a nod of the head. Oh, interesting. I've never had any dreams with Djinn, but fair enough. That's very, very interesting stuff. Okay. Gotcha. Very cool, guys. Thank you for those who took the time to answer. I appreciate it. Again, I don't ever consider myself even... I'm a little informed on Djinn. I have a little bit of an understanding of the mythos surrounding them, but not at all comprehensive. It's something that I've heard about many times. I've looked into a little. I've had guests on the show talk about them, but I don't pretend to really understand much about the Djinn at all. So I really don't know what they could be and couldn't be. I don't know what they're capable of or not capable of, and I don't know what that means. I think that's, generally speaking, I think that pretty much any of these spiritual entities can look like anything else. I don't think that, since they're not bound by a physical frame, they can manifest whatever they choose. I think that that's kind of universal in the spiritual realm. So it could be you're dealing with something pretty benign, but it can look horrifying. So I don't know. Just what little takes I can possibly offer here. But this has been the question of the week. I don't think I missed anything. So, yeah, thanks for your answers, guys. And please watch for the question of the week. Chucky puts up a new one every week. Sandy RN said, never saw a Djinn, not about to start seeing them. Well, for what it's worth, I hope not, but I don't know. I have heard that there are benevolent Djinn and there are malevolent Djinn. I've heard that many times. I think, generally speaking, hi, Chris Bearwind over in Facebook popping in. I do think that, primarily the lore seems pretty specific that for the most part, it doesn't seem like Djinn particularly care about us that much. Like, I don't know if it's a dismissal or an absolute hatred. It's probably both, but that there are also stories of benevolence from them. So, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. And I'm certainly not qualified to offer much of an answer anyway. So, thank you again for posting that, Rachel. Paranormal Triage, good to see you. I just heard the term loopers. What do you think that means? Just from the movie Loopers is where I've heard that, and that is time loopers. They could jump around time or whatever. Or space. I can't remember now. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie Loopers, but I don't know what the term you're referring to means, whether it's a time or space thing or what. But I think it's an interesting concept. Times travel is an interesting concept, and maybe there's a basis for that somehow within physics. I don't know. I've experienced a space slip myself, but so I think that's possible too. Hi, Kirsten Leah. How you doing, Mama? It's good to see you coming in. Good to see you coming in. Thanks for coming in. Unrestricted Landscape W. Weem. Oh, more bot offers. Thank you, Unrestricted Landscape Pew. I don't need bots. Thank you. I got a bot following me on Twitch. Awesome. They always show up every show just to dump their spam crap. Appreciate it. I don't have any mod over there right now, so it'll just have to sit. At least it's something happening over there. Mom's doing good, John. Thank you for asking. She's doing pretty good. But this has been the question of the week, everybody. So let's get back to the rest of this. All right, folks. That was the Discord question of the week. Looks like Tex is not going to make it tonight. He must have nodded off, and that's fine. Probably wiped out after his day. But that's okay. You got me. What's while I'm probably better with Tex, I'm okay. So, everyone needs a bot now and then. Yeah. I want one that vacuums, honestly. If we're going to choose our own bots and the ones we need, I want one that vacuums and dusts. But I know what you're talking about, the Twitch thing. But I'm just saying, if I could put use to artificial intelligence, it would be smart enough to do dishes, laundry, vacuum, and clean. And that's about it. Maybe play some songs and answer some rudimentary questions, help them in with math. But other than that, that's good. Tex might be over on Donnie's channel discussing Bigfoot erotica. Oh, Donnie. Donnie's a different guy. I think he's a great guy. I don't know him real well. Hi, Trina Fuller. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in over on Facebook. Donnie's a great guy, though. He seems like a very unique soul. I don't think I've ever met another Donnie. And I've only talked to him a couple times briefly while I was on shows with him. But he's a unique soul. There's no question. So, all right. Dog Digger popped in over on Rumble. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you over there. How are we doing for time? 8:04. We've got a lot of time, actually. So we're going to get to an article that we've been burning through for a couple shows now. And these are haunted hospitals. Basically, nurses talk about their spooky encounters with ghosts and other strangeness in hospitals. We've been going through this list. It's a thought catalog article, and it's been phenomenal. I mean, it's been phenomenal. That just came out, just like that. Another punny thing. All right, and this article we're on number 15. I'm just making a mental note of that because I want to open it up and show you guys the header of this article. And here it is. Here it is. This from thoughtcatalog.com, ladies and gentlemen. Please check out Thought Catalog. Just amazing number of lists with pretty much anything you're interested in. Could be any topic. You can see the whole possibilities of things up here on the top. They just have so much to offer over here. And this story is 49 real nurses share their terrifying hospital ghost stories that scared them to death. This has been a really good show, a really good thread, rather. I've really enjoyed this. This is written by Eric Redding, Redding. He writes for Thought Catalog, and it was last updated 3 years ago. But again, this stuff's always evergreen, so let's get down to 15 and get started on this. Here it is. I thought that we did this one. Yeah, we did that one. We're on number 16. Never open that door. That sounds like words to live by, folks. Don't open a door. Number 16. In the morgue at my hospital, I would always hear knocking coming from inside the freezer. Well, it really creeped me out, especially when the pathologist looked up, grabbed me by the shoulders, stared me straight in the eye, and said, "You hear that? You never open that door when they're knocking. Never." It turned out to be some loose pipes. He thought it was hilarious, but I didn't sleep that night. So he set him up. He just totally made the guy poop himself. Poop seems to be the theme of the night. But it turned out to be some loose pipes. Well, there you go. Not everything's paranormal, folks. Things just do sometimes make noise. And that's the case. Like when I go investigating in some of the places are pretty old. And some are just different. But I usually try to spend at least some time getting used to the normal sounds as much as you can. Like, what does it sound like when the heat pops on? What does it sound like when the air conditioner pops on? What does it sound like, is there just strange noises? Where do they come from? You gotta look into that, because every place has a quote unquote personality. They really do. And you'll hear noises that sound absolutely paranormal, but they can be the most mundane explanations. So spend some time in a place if you can. If you're going to investigate it, get used to it. Get used to the sounds a place makes. That way, when something really off the wall does happen, you can at least invest in that a little more, knowing that you're at least somewhat familiar with the normal sounds. All right, number 17, they die within 72 hours of seeing her. Yeah, this comes up a lot, that people that are in critical care units or in hospice and stuff, there's sometimes characters, and it seems almost specific to the location, but that when they see a specific character. With some nursing homes, I've heard many times that when they start seeing children that's running around, that is often an indicator that that person that saw them is not long for the world. Or at least someone's going to pass. Now, the other people may still see them, but one of the residents is probably going to pass. And what that is, I don't know, but that's creepy. So let's check it out. I work in a LTC, is that long-term care facility? And within lies the legend of the little girl. Boom, there it is. Many people have seen her. Few have survived to tell about it. Quite a few residents have asked me, "Who's that little girl?" And pointed to her. And coincidentally, these people would be dead within 72 hours of seeing her. Turns out about 10 years ago, there was a fatal car accident in front of our LTC, and the victim, a little girl about 10 years old. Aw, that's a hell of a thing. So I guess if you see the little girl running around, get right with Jesus. You better find your faith, because you're going to be taking that journey. All right, number 18, Maggie. We got our own Maggie. All right, a couple retired military captain and his wife, Margaret, sold their house to move to Florida. And it so happens that they sold their house to the state. The state was going to use it as a resident home for mentally disabled teens. Well, after the closing, but before they moved, Margaret died in the house. Well, the captain had to move because the house was already sold. Do you know where I'm going with this? Residents always refer to old lady that they always see. Nursing staff just referred to her as Maggie. Now, late at night when the residents were asleep, if the staff put the TV on, more adult programming like Red Shoe Diaries, etc., the TV would turn off. And when turned back on, would come onto an entirely different channel. There was this one nurse, and it was like the house was out to get her. She'd swear that the carpet tripped me. When the cupboard opens, knives would fall out aimed at her. Turns out this nurse was eventually fired for abusing and stealing from the residents. Maggie takes care of her children. That's kind of cool. That's really cool, actually. I guess that could be a foreboding. It's like if Maggie's targeting someone, keep an eye on that person because she saw something happen she didn't like. Number 19, she died, but then came back. Ooh. I work as a CNA in a long-term care, and we had one resident, Betty, who was totally independent. All ADLs were done on her own, and she did fine on her own. Never had an incident. The only time she wanted help was showers, but then she only wanted you around just to make sure she didn't slip and fall. Betty came down with pneumonia and had to be hospitalized. And when she came back, she was too weak to do things on her own, but too stubborn to ask anyone for help. The last thing the CNA told her before going to bed was, if you want to get up, hit your call light. I'll come help you. Well, of course she didn't. Got rid of the bed alarm, climbed out of the bed, and fell. Betty died from the fall, and no one was moved. No one was moved into bed C, Betty's bed, afterwards. Well, the following week, the call light for the room went off at night. Thinking it was a resident in bed B, I walked down to the room to see what she wanted. I walked into the room only to see the call light for bed B and A were off. The call light for bed C, which is Betty's unoccupied bed, was on. My eyes filled up with tears, and I backed out of the room and made someone else turn the call light off. Yeah, she's still there, huh? I'm hearing thunder. There's thunder. There's a bit of thunder. There be thunder in them there hills. Yeah, that's kind of sad. I mean, I guess she's lingering there. Number 20 is the inspector. We have a gentleman that we call the inspector, and he appears at the end of the long hall. Our wings are all L-shaped. He carries a clipboard in his hand, and when he shows up, a resident usually dies within the next couple of days. We've also had residents ring and tell us that there was a man standing next to their roommate's bed, and that we should all tell him to leave. There's no men on nights. The roommate usually dies soon afterwards. And then there's the children. Several lucid residents have reported children in the halls at night. There's a children's home behind us where children had been abused in the past. Now, that's a nasty thing. God. I don't know what it is, but, you know, there's always got to be some tragedies. It's so sad that people get mistreated. And then I mean nursing care facilities, nursing homes. You know, not everybody's good taking care of people. Not everybody should be taking care of people. It's just, well, for the most part, maybe an easy
Rising.
job. Rising, it says. Rising. Okay. What's rising? Any follow-up? Rising? Okay. Well, if you think of anything else, let us know. So far tonight, we've got fact. What do we have? August, fact, and rising. The three words that have popped up tonight. It's been a little more active tonight. Wonder if that has something to do with the fire, the thunderstorm rather, not the fire. That's a fact, Brent. Yeah, it is. It is really tragic because when you put people in these facilities, you want them to get the best care, and a lot of times these facilities are extraordinarily expensive. They cost a lot of money, and you would think it'd be like a 5-star hotel kind of situation, but a lot of times these people just are mistreated. And it's such a heartbreaker. Such a heartbreaker. All right, let's go to 21. She said Rex, and then I saw him. I was working a night shift job as an aide caring for a lady with terminal cancer on hospice at home, as I have for years. Well, she was starting to slip, and I woke her family. 2 girls and a DH. What does DH mean? We're all sitting around. She was pretty quiet and peaceful. And all of a sudden, she looked toward the door and said, Rex, you're here for me. I'm ready, and they won't let me go. Well, I saw a shadowy figure come into the room and felt the creepiest evil spirit. I'm not normally spooked, but I was so glad when it was time for me to go home. I turned to watch this spirit, and the family was looking at me like, what are you looking at? The lady died later that day. A few months later, her daughter had been sick, just not well, not terminal, and they called my agency to see if I would come and stay with him at night. I thought they said her daughter. Stay with him. Oh, the guy. Okay. With him at night for a few days until he was a little stronger. Well, I stayed 2 nights, all kinds of weird paranormal stuff in that house. Voices in rooms that were empty, sound of people moving around when everyone was asleep, etc. I decided I didn't care how sick he was or how much that family liked me. I was not doing another shift there. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes a paycheck just isn't worth it. Sometimes it's just not worth it. Man, that thunder just keeps rolling and rolling. What the hell? All I can see is darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. All right. Well, I can't see any storm. Willie is the next one, number 22. Couple of stories from the unit. Can you guys hear the thunder at all? Is it coming through at all? No, I mean, it's just constant, though. It's like boom, 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 boom. Crazy. All right. A couple of stories from the unit. In bed 3, there was a homeless patient, Willie, who, thanks to modern medicine, was kept alive for, I believed, around 3 months. There was no family to stop care, and Willie eventually died, but patients who are in bed 3 will talk about their friend Willie, who brought them a blanket or just stopped by to talk. Bed 3 is at the end of the unit and has an anteroom before you go in. You can't see directly in bed 3 unless you're in the anteroom or looking at the room on the monitor. One night, with no patient in bed 3, the monitor flips to the room, and a body was seen laying over the side of the bed, over the side rails, kind of floating. The room was checked, and nobody was there. Another night, a nurse who has worked in the unit a few years saw someone sitting in a chair behind the door in bed number 3 with their legs crossed, and she wondered, since we have limited visiting hours, how a family member got in the room. Well, she went in the room and no one was there. Needless to say, she was freaked out. There's also another patient who is a young woman in her 20s who contracted necrotizing fasciitis, flesh-eating disease, from one of her kids who had strep. Oh. Well, she was in the unit a while and eventually passed away. One of the nurses coming on the next shift wanted to know why the patient was standing on the backside of the unit with her twin daughters holding their hands. Wondering how she made such a miraculous recovery, she was informed the patient had died earlier that day. Oof. Yikes. That's creepy. Number 23, the first patient to die. I think we'll get to some cryptids. The very small town, the small step-down unit I worked in was having nighttime staffing issues, and I agreed to rotate the nights just to help them out. It was a 4-bed, newly renovated unit, and it was around 3 a.m., and I was watching the monitors, listening to the patient snore. The pencil drawer slid open. I didn't think much of it since the hospital was on a very busy avenue, and I thought it was caused by the vibrations from the traffic on the busy road below. Well, after sliding the drawer back several times, I decided if the drawer felt it needed to be open, so be it. So, several minutes later, I heard a noise in the room, the patient's bathroom door opening, and the sound of someone pushing an IV pole. Since I didn't have a clear view of the bathroom, I just thought one of the staff members from the main floor had dashed in just to wash their hands. Well, I looked up from my monitor viewing to see the patient who we recently had in the unit. It was Mrs. G, an older woman who came in with atypical chest pain and became septic due to a gallbladder issue. Well, she had eventually expired in the unit. Although the hospital itself had been on this site for years, the unit was newly renovated, right down to tearing down walls and putting up new ones. Well, I heard the patient's bathroom door open, and again I heard the rattling of the IV pole and shuffling feet. I looked up and saw Mrs. G standing there, in the middle of the floor, one hand pushing the IV pole, the other hand on top of the pump on the pole. She stopped walking, turned, and waved, nodded her head, said everything was going to be okay, and took a few steps and disappeared. Oof. It was quite a sight to see. Shortly after that vision, one of the nurses from the floor came in to see if I needed anything, and I told her, no, I was okay, and asked her if she had ever seen a ghost in the hospital. She looked at me and gasped and said, no, why? And I explained to her what had just happened. She said she would never step foot in that room again. Mrs. G was the first patient to die in that unit. She was well liked by all the staff, and my feeling was that she was watching over us. The day shift came in. I told them my story. They weren't surprised. Through the years working at various hospitals, worked as a nurse extern in my senior year in nursing school, and heard older nurses telling their stories about ghosts. I thought they were just burned out. Yeah, there are ghosts in care facilities. If they're not seen, their presence is felt. They leave an energy behind. Yeah, they do. Well, the next one sounds gory, but we'll pick that one up on Wednesday. So that has been some more haunted horror stories, ghost stories from hospitals and nursing staff. Crazy stuff. Chucky says it just started raining here too. There you go. I guess there must be something moving through. Must be big enough to be both your place and mine, or two different storms. But at any rate, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's right above me. It sounds like it's near, but not right above me. But you know what time it is? It's time for the cryptids, folks. Y'all ready for some cryptids? Because I got some for you. Can you guys hear that? Are you hearing that at all? Let me know. Yeah, it kind of sounds like it, D. Too bad she's caught there. Well, let me know if you guys can hear that thunder. I don't know. That one was a little bit closer. I don't know. What's not perfect about that? The paranormal portal and the thunderstorm. Come on. It's like Halloween. Rachel heard it. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I think I got a pretty good... Oh, Barbara can hear it. That's great thunder. Gotcha. Those were good stories. Yeah, I like those stories too. I think, again, there's some locations that are just perfect for paranormal activity. And one of them is hospitals and care facilities. They see a lot of people passing. They see a lot of people coming into the world. They have every emotion on the spectrum. Just spikes of all of them, from joy, pain, sadness, agony, sorrow, grief, happiness, excitement, and just so many of them. So there's like a huge barometer of emotional energy that's built up in these places. And Ray at Ruthie says, I can hear that loud and clear. Okay. Yeah, I think the microphone's pretty good. I don't know, Sometimes it does a really good job picking up extra noise, and sometimes it does a really good job muffling extra noise, like when the minion's running through the house like a rhino. But anyway, it doesn't surprise me at all that hospitals would be one of those hotspots, even active hospitals or inactive hospitals. Your hearing is bad. I'm supposed to get a hearing aid, but haven't yet. They are expensive. You're right. Yeah, you are right. You must have heard that one, right? That one sounded pretty close. Yeah, it's like boom, 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 boom. You guys had to have heard that one, right? That was a pretty good peal. I love thunderstorms. I mean, I don't love when people get hurt or damage happens as a result of them, but I just love the energy of thunderstorms. Okay, Karen heard that one even. We know it's a loud one. Okay, very cool. Yep, it's rolling up. It's rolling up, so if all of a sudden I disappear, it means that I lost power. So you'll have to understand that that'll mean the end of the show, because if this goes down, it's going to take a while to get everything back up and running. That Nino kind of guy is in here with hugs and kisses all around, it looks like. How you doing, that Nino guy? Kind of guy? Nino kind of guy. Nino? Is it Nino or Nino? I don't know. Anyway. Good evening, mods. Well, I guess you're only talking to the mods, Nino. Or Nino. I love thunder. I sleep best during thunderstorms. Yeah, me too. I've long heard, I grew up kind of really esoterically, so I heard that thunderstorms were important to balance energies, to, bring energies down, to even them out, and that they're cleansing. They're a cleansing thing. So they can be horrible and scary and terrifying. But I always figure, well, Justin Goodearth could hear it too. Okay, got you guys. Yep, Carju's heard it. Yep, gotcha. It was pretty loud. It was pretty close. This blue-green marble spinning at approximately 14,000 through the universe is like an airport. Yeah, there's a lot of people coming and going. I think we might be the intergalactic petting zoo or 7-Eleven or something like that. I'm not sure. But at any rate, yep, there's no shortage of strangeness in this orb for sure. Falling water creates negative ions in the atmosphere. And those are good, right? Isn't it negative ions that are supposed to be good? That's one of the reasons we should walk around barefoot, because it's grounding. That's the way Sasquatch poop sounds when he poops in the woods. Could be. Looking at the logs he was spitting out, they might make a rumble. There was some pretty healthy fiber in that diet, it looked like. They just fell right out. Boom, boom. Brent, I took care of that chat message for you on Twit. Oh, thank you, Kitty. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Yeah, there's not much I can do. I mean, I can't moderate it very well. Did I make you a mod over there, Kitty? I certainly can. If you're able to stop over there and do that, that's awesome. Souls are arriving and departing all day long, and the only thing that matters is what flight are you on? Yeah, it's kind of an esoteric way of looking at it for sure. Coming and going. It's like a lot of throughput here. That was punctuation mark. That was the exclamation mark right there. I feel like Thor here the way I'm talking and got thunder rolling. All right, well, let's get to the cryptids. It's time, so I can't think of much better to do right now than to see what the hell's going on. We're going to start our journey on Sasquatch Chronicles blog, ladies and gentlemen. So let's do that now. Oh, okay, Kitty. Gotcha. Thank you. Perfect. All right, welcome to the Cryptid Corner, ladies and gentlemen. We are at it here again. And it's time to talk about the creatures and all the strangeness that we so love. I love cryptids. I love the idea that there's things out there, as long as they're way out there, not like in my yard. There's sometimes I would love to live out in the forest just for the serenity of it, but there's other times I would be like, I'm glad I'm not in the forest. I'll tell you what, it's just you never know what's out there. Never know. All right, well, let's get to this. This is where we're going to start the journey tonight, folks, on Sasquatch Chronicles blog. Again, please check this out. Wes does a hell of a job keeping this current and active, and he does an awesome job. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. But I had a couple pulled up. We read 1 or 2 last night, and I saved a couple for tonight, which is good because it was a clean sweep then. So here we go from Sasquatch Chronicles blog, ladies and gentlemen. Please check it out. Please support what he's doing. And if you want to be a member, you can get extra Sasquatch Chronicles episodes every week. 1 extra episode. And that's pretty freaking awesome. All right, here we go. Upcoming show, My Grandfather Fed the Creatures. And I don't know when this is going live for sure as a show, but this would be an amazing episode. A listener writes, I live in East Tennessee. While I've had several Sasquatch encounters, I'm writing about something I saw in the first week of March. I was coming home from work. I didn't have to pick up my son that day, so I decided to cut cross country and just save a few miles. It was about 3 in the afternoon and absolutely sunny and clear. And there's a railroad track that you have to cross, and on one side is the open field and the other is several acres of woods. The track is built up in between. And while crossing the track, I was looking to my right and saw what looked like a black pool of water in the middle of the tracks at about 100 to 150 yards away. Sorry, I'm not good at estimating distances. Well, I watched it flow up and over the tracks and down into the woods. And the best way I can describe the movement was like Venom in the movie, but smoother somehow. I've never seen anything like this, and just wondering if anyone else has. Wes says, I spoke to the witness, and she said, I'm not sure what I saw that day. It was so big, and it moved like water. It was so smooth as it went over the train tracks. I grew up knowing about these things. They were on my grandfather's property, and he used to feed them. I'd tell Grandpa that a man was watching me in the window at night. My grandfather took me down to feed them, and he said he was feeding stray dogs. He put the plate down, and this big, hairy arm came out of the bushes to grab the dish. Well, I was terrified of them, and my grandfather told me, if you don't hurt them, they won't hurt you. Well, I don't think I believe that. What I can tell you is whatever crossed those tracks was different than what I saw growing up. Wow. Yeah, then somebody says, another scary episode. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Yeah, that sounds fascinating. I don't know what the liquidy thing was. Again, when we're talking about this weird stuff in the woods, it's not just one thing. I mean, there's the usual suspects like Bigfoot, Dogman, pale crawlers, that kind of stuff. But there's a whole host of other things that might be out there. And some of them we may not understand or even really know. There was one time up here in the forest, I was driving with a friend of mine at the time, back towards the same house where I saw the UFO. And we were driving, and I was just kind of lazily sitting in the passenger seat. He was driving, and it's a rough, bumpy road, but we're chugging along through this logging road, and I started to see movement, and I looked up, and what I saw was something I still don't understand to this day, and it's something I honestly don't ever really talk about because I don't know how to talk about it. I'm trying now because of this description kind of brought it back to me. What I saw was like as if a black cloud, a very big black cloud, was moving through the forest. It wasn't like a thing. It wasn't like a being. It was like an area of darkness moved quickly through the forest. And I was just like, oh, I saw that. I didn't say a word. But then my friend said, did you see that? And I said, well, I saw a big dark mass moving through the forest. He goes, yeah, I saw that. So we both saw it, but I don't know what we saw. It's not like I think, oh, that was maybe a Sasquatch. I don't think it was. I'm not sure what I saw, but it was a big black, looked like a cloud. It just kind of glided through the woods in the distance. What did I see? I don't know. But when I'm reading this liquid thing, this big liquid thing going over, I'm like, well, it's kind of insubstantial as well, right? So what is it? And I don't know. I don't know what I saw, but it was really creepy. And this is up here in the north tip of Idaho. So if anybody has any ideas, I'd love to hear it. I think there's a lot of things we just don't know what they are out there. And again, the usual suspects, Sasquatch, Dogman, Bigfoot, all, whatever. We understand those. We can quantify that at least idealistically in our minds. What I saw, I don't know what to do with. It was a nebulous mass just drifting through the forest kind of quickly, but not super quickly, just like in the distance. It was about 150 yards away. And I had a full field of vision, and I watched that thing go just through and then to where I couldn't see it anymore. And this is old woods. This isn't like thick, scrubby. Oh, I can hardly see. You could see off into the distance. So what it was, I don't know. But very, very wild. All right. What's going on, Linda? Oh, you guys lost power. Oh, okay. Yeah, sending prayers for sure. Hopefully you'll get power back. You're on generator now. Okay. Well, at least you got a generator. Thank God. That's good. Yes, D. Ocean says we don't have the context in our minds to understand some things. Yeah, it's exactly right. Like, I don't know. Could it be a shapeshifter? It was huge. I mean, I'm talking about it was like the size of a house moving through the forest. It wasn't just like, vaguely, man-sized. It was the size of a building moving through the forest. But it was a dark shadow, and it was like you couldn't see past it. So it wasn't quite insubstantial, but it wasn't like physical either. It was like something in between, going through the trees like that. I don't know. It was almost like I was watching a huge ancient dark spirit move through the forest, for lack of a better term, that didn't really have a form. But that doesn't really make sense, right? But that's the best I could come up with. So come to your own conclusions. I don't know. But that's crazy. Hi, Hoggle. Good to see you. Wonderful to see you. Thanks for coming in. Hoggle's been around for a long time. She's a dear old friend. Good to have you come in. Weird traveler. I can relate to that. Puerto Rico is the land of blackouts. Yeah, I bet it is. Is that where you are, weird traveler, in Puerto Rico? I'll bet. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's go to the next one. That was a really cool story. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's go to the next one from Sasquatch Chronicles, and this is an upcoming guest as well. This one's pretty short. I was staring at it, and it was staring at me. A listener writes, "Hey, Wes, longtime listener. I live in Clallam, Washington, and I had a sighting in 1976 when I was 9. So if you're interested, get a hold of me." Wes says, "Spoke to the witness, and he's agreed to come on the show." And he said, "My older sister wanted to have a smoke, and she was not allowed to smoke. And we hiked through the forest when I came upon this creature, and it was squatted down. I think I know what I was doing. We saw it earlier. I heard the growl before I saw it. Well, I'm about 8 feet away, and the creature went from a crouch position to standing up, and it seemed like she went up and up and up. It had a lot of human features, but the mouth went from ear to ear. I couldn't believe how big the mouth was. I was staring at it, and it was staring at me, and my sister grabs me, and we take off running. My aunt later told me that it lives in her barn, and she saw it many times." Wow. That's pretty wild. It's hard to understand what that mouth would look like, but if our mouths went from our ear to our ear, that means you could basically open up your mouth like a lion, like literally. If our, opening was that big, you could probably open it up like a lion. That means you'd bite the neck of an elk. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's freaking huge. But it sounds like it looked very humanish as well, which is maybe a little comforting in that kind of situation. Well, it kind of looks like me. Big mouth, but other than that, sounds like my ex. No, I did not. Just kidding. I'm an idiot. Don't ever forget it. All right, so there you go. Very cool story. I don't know when either of these is going to go live on Sasquatch Chronicles. Could be live now for all I know. All those is just a couple days old. These are both from the 18th. So, but but they will both be forthcoming episodes. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Way too big of a mouth. Yeah, Chucky. Sounds like it's enormous. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Now we're going to head over to Phantoms and Monsters, folks. And I was kind of hoping Tex was here. I was saving this one for Tex. Because, again, his recent sighting of what he thought was a crawler was very dark. And most of the time you hear there's the descriptions being very pale. But here's another one I stumbled onto that has a darker color, in this case, gray. And so this is now the third story that I've heard of these crawler humanoids that have a darker pigmentation. They're not the standard white, pale colors. So let's check this out. Again, this is phantomsandmonsters.com, Lon Strickler's site. It's an amazing site. Lon is updating this many times every day and publishing new stories, new encounters. So please check out Phantoms and Monsters. Support what Lon is doing. He's been a pillar in the community forever and does a hell of a job. He's a published author with many titles behind his name. You can go over here to phantomsandmonsters.com and find out information about that. You can find out information about the research efforts that they do on Phantoms and Monsters with other researchers around the country, dealing with a lot of different phenomena like Bigfoot, Dogman, and the Mothman phenomena specifically. He's been getting quite involved in that lately. So there's a lot to check out, and you can check out Lon's podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio, and that's, of course, available everywhere on all the podcast platforms, but you can check out Lon's live streams on Phantoms and Monsters Radio on YouTube. That's a channel, so get subscribed, give Lon some of your love. He does his streams every Friday night at 6 Pacific. I guess that'd be 8 Central, 9 Eastern, so check it out. So this one's from April 15th. Gray-colored crawler reported in south central Kansas field. So this is gray-colored. All right. We illuminated a gray-colored naked man and began to yell at this guy, telling him he was trespassing and needed to leave. Well, the figure eventually disappeared. The following account was forwarded to me by my friends and colleagues Kyle and Cam at Expanded Perspectives. Yeah, it's a great show. I used to listen to Expanded Perspectives ages ago. I loved that show. They kind of were right along with Sasquatch Chronicles as far as what I listened to while I was working in a cubicle. All right, I'm from south central Kansas, and our city is a former railroad town and settled on former Osage tribal ground. I don't know if it's Osage or Osage, but at any rate, you get the drift. I've grown up in the country my entire life and seen a few strange things, but nothing that couldn't be explained until this incident. One night in 2021, and two of my friends, Okay, I thought maybe I misread that, but that's what it says. We're doing what small town kids do and just driving around at night, bored. Stopping at some of the family's farm fields, we stopped at a field near a power plant that's about 3 miles from my house. We turned off the truck with the windows down, waiting to see if we could see any coyotes, because this was during thermal coyote season in Kansas. They got a thermal coyote season. Wow. We sat and called for a little bit, and I noticed a human-shaped figure in my thermal scope on the outer edge of the field, and I told one of my friends to grab the spotlight and shine it on the tree row. When he did, it illuminated a gray-colored naked man. We began to yell at this guy, telling him he was trespassing and needed to leave. Well, after about 30 seconds of us yelling, the figure stopped walking, turned directly into the trees, disappearing. Well, at this moment, we started scanning the field and noticed some deer around 30 yards from us that no one care about what we were from us, that had no care about what we were doing and only seemed to care about what went into the trees. No more than 20 or 30 seconds later, a deer walked out of the same tree row, but it was very strange. It acted like a deer with chronic wasting disease. Well, after this, we began hearing very loud and strange vocalizations, and we quickly got into the truck and left. Fast forward to the summer of 2024, and I began to notice strange orange orbs at night in the pasture behind my house. When I first saw one, I thought it was someone with a flashlight in our field and began watching it closer, and it went up into the trees and just flickered out. I then looked towards the east and noticed another in the sky, and I went back inside, asked my girlfriend to come outside, and I pointed at the orb, and she said, "Look, there's another one to the south," the same direction as the first one. It may be worth mentioning that we only would see these orbs during thunderstorms, after it stopped raining. One time there were around 7 of them, and they formed a triangle-like formation in the sky and slowly rose higher and higher into the sky. It had a few more incidents with this orb. I had a few more incidents with these orbs. And my uncle even asked me if I had seen any orange orbs or yellow lights in the sky recently. I wonder if there's a correlation between those orbs and this gray thing, the gray crawler. And I don't know. I mean, they're not really implying there is or isn't. It's just 2 incidents the guy is reporting about. But fascinating, right? Very fascinating. So, I don't know. Very cool. Very cool. Interesting story. But again, another not white pale crawler. So I guess it's not a pale crawler. It's just a crawler. You don't hear that too much. But now that's the 3rd one I've heard of. That isn't white. Now we're going to get into some little people stories. And I love these from Phantoms and Monsters. And I love that Lon posts these because I find this topic very fascinating. Little people sneaked out of my closet and then vanished underneath my bed. How do you like that? I mean, that's the stuff right out of fairy tales, right? Again, maybe they are fae. Maybe that's part of what's going on here, but it's hard to understand. I think perhaps these little people, these diminutive proto-pygmy types, might very well be not really from here, but can be here, if that makes sense. Like maybe they're from something in between us and something else. I don't know. Like a dimensional thing. I don't know. Just a thought, but the way that they appear and disappear comes up a lot. And sometimes it absolutely defies logic. Like, it went into that corner and was just gone. Well, why? Where did it go? Things can't go into corners and just disappear as far as traditional physics would tell us. Matter is neither created nor destroyed, but it can change form. So maybe that's what happened. Or its energy is neither created nor destroyed. But anyway, you get my meaning. I could sense something moving in there. A very teeny tiny little man was holding hands with the little woman behind him, and they were sneaking out of the closet. There's a little picture. I don't know if it looks more like action figures, but I don't think this is supposed to be an actual figure. It's an AI rendering. I received the following account. Hello. I thought I'd write you. I'm 60 years old, and this is something that happened to me when I was 10 years old. Wow. It's a long time from when it happened. Okay. I've always been able to remember this memory extremely clearly, unchanging, and not fuzzy like remembering a dream. We lived in a trailer situated in a cow field out in the country of McMinn, Tennessee. My sister and I slept in a bunk bed with me on the bottom. The hall light outside of our bedroom was always left on for us. There's plenty of light in the room at night. I woke up in the middle of the night, and the closet door was open about 8 inches. My eyes had just opened up, staring straight into the black of the closet. Without moving my head, I could sense something moving in there. A very tiny little man was holding hands with a tiny little woman behind him, and they were sneaking out of the closet. They were very slow and careful in their movements. I didn't move at all, but just stared, transfixed until they stopped and looked around puzzled, and I think they could sense someone staring at them. And he looked up and locked eyes with me for a good 2 seconds, and it scared them to death, and they ran underneath my bed. Well, I instantly became terrified. Little guy's like, there goes date night. Hi, Mike Prine. Good to see you. I laid on my back for the longest time until I finally calmed down a little. I slowly looked under the bed, but they were gone. There was a shoe under my bed, and I assumed they were inside the shoe hiding, but I just didn't dare touch it. I laid awake in my bed for a long time and eventually fell back asleep. Well, they were about 10 inches tall. Their hair looked like it might have been brown. I'm not sure how long it was. And I also can't remember exactly what their clothes looked like. When you're young, you just don't think or care about the style of someone's clothes. They just looked like tiny, normal people. They didn't have wings or some odd skin color. And I remember them looking like white people, but they could have been Indian, I guess. Again, this isn't something that really registers when you're 10. I've told this story to friends and family all my life. It was extremely weird because this was 1975, and I never had any books about fairies when I was little. It wasn't till I went to college I could find decent books that covered myths about fairies and brownies. Then when the internet came along, I was able to find out that the Cherokee Indians that lived here in East Tennessee do have myths about little people. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that is pretty wild. What were they? What are they? What do they do? Where do they go? But it does seem like they come out of nowhere and return to nowhere in terms of what we understand. I'm not saying legitimately, but it is curious, right? Pedro Mountain Mummy. Yeah, that's a cool thing. That's in, I think, Montana, though, right, Mike? Isn't that Montana? Has the Pedro Mountain Mummies. And they're pretty bizarre, too. Diminutive beings. I think they're about 2 or 3 feet tall, though, generally, but they're kind of mummified in like almost in a fetal position, sitting up. It's pretty crazy. If I'm thinking about the same thing, Mike, you'll have to let me know. But, yep, there it is. Mind wipes with familiar accepted vision. Could have been Gray's. That certainly could be. That's certainly possible, yeah. But interesting enough. I like that story, though. I like these little people stories. They don't come up often, but when they do, and it just goes to show you, and I think it stands to reason. Because people are more and more comfortable talking about Bigfoot. That's why there's a lot of people talking about Bigfoot, is it's socially more acceptable. The amount of people believing that Bigfoot out there is, I think, a growing idea for a lot of people, and more people are accepting that maybe there is something out there. I don't think it's expanded to everything, though. Like ghosts, I think most people have some kind of belief that there might be ghosts. UFOs, there's enough stories out there that I think people are at least giving it some credence and credibility. But topics like these little people and other strange things, it's a little harder to digest, and it's harder to find an audience that's willing to at least receive the story without mocking or ridicule or any number of stupid responses that might come. You know, Lisa G says, I think it's a girl who does Homer Simpson's voice. I met her. No, she does Bart. She does Bart. Her name is Lisa something. Not Lisa. Nancy Cartwright. She does Bart. And then, of course, Marge and Maggie, I think, are all voiced by women as well. But Bart is Nancy Cartwright. But Dan Castellaneta does Homer. And he does Barney, and I think he does Moe. No, Moe is an actor. Pretty famous actor. But anyway, yeah. Very cool stuff. But very cool story. I hope you guys like that. Here we go. This is April 12th, 2025. Witness describes duende and vaquero entity. Encounters on his grandfather's South Texas ranch. Now, duende are kind of miniature people as well. I don't know about a vaquero, though. I don't know if that's a depiction of one. Are they green? But at any rate, let's find out. Oh, I got to cough again. Hold on. All right. This is, I only caught a glimpse, but I swear it was a duende, little goblin. I can't even explain what I saw. It was like a small humanoid creature. I see the AI must have grabbed green as a color to apply to a goblin, of course, because traditional folklore, that's how they're always described. All right, I received the following account. Hi, my grandfather owns a ranch in the south of Texas, close to the border of Mexico. And I've seen and heard lots of strange things out there. My cousin and I once saw a man dressed in an old cowboy attire from way back when, and it was late at night, like 11 p.m. when we were camping outside on the ranch. And we noticed a man just sitting on the fence post, looking down. We couldn't see his face, but he had a cowboy hat on. We called out to him thinking it was some stranger on our property. We had our guns to protect us, which is why we started walking towards him. I was really scared because we'd been out there all day, hadn't seen anyone walking around the property. So to just see someone dressed in cowboy attire sitting in the dead of night was pretty scary for me. I was in high school at the time. But when we started walking closer, he was literally just gone. Like you blinked and he just disappeared. It was so freaking crazy. Neither my cousin nor I could believe what we had just witnessed. A lot of weird things happened that night, and we ended up not staying the night. Strange noises, the sound of someone walking around our campfire, etc. The property isn't easy to access without being seen. You have to turn from the main road and go all the way down this long dirt road, and the property sits at the very end. My grandfather's house sits right next to the property along this dirt road on its own little fenced-in yard. So if someone is driving down this road, you can see them coming and hear them coming from a ways away. My grandpa claims to have seen some weird-looking creature walking in the distance on his ranch in the distance that smelled horrible, and he can smell it from where he was standing. He shot his shotgun as a warning, and the creature just stared at him, like it wasn't even scared or even fazed. Then it just slowly walked off behind some shrubbery, and it was gone. He claims it was a chupacabra, but of course, I can't verify this. Also on the same ranch, so many strange things we experienced with the paranormal. We were sitting around the campfire. We had the trucks out there backed up towards the campfire. And we're sitting on the tailgate, and anyway, with the same cousin, and he starts to freak out like, "What the hell is that?" pointing at the truck across from us. Well, I only caught a glimpse, but I swear it was a duende, a little goblin. I can't even explain what I saw. It was like a small humanoid creature. It looked kind of human, but it wasn't. It was peeking out from behind the front tire of the truck, parked across from us. I saw hands and feet, and its eyes were just watching us. I didn't see any hair on it or any clothes, but again, it all just happened so fast. It was only peeking out at us, so I didn't get to see all of what it looked like, but when it noticed that we noticed it, it took off so fast, I couldn't even comprehend what the hell we just saw. We were so scared, we booked it so fast out of there, we didn't even lock the gate back up. To this day, we don't stay on that ranch after dark. My grandfather claims it used to be old Indian grounds, and I also can't verify that, but my grandfather is an honest man, and he said there's been a few things he saw out there that scared him so much that he also doesn't go out there anymore after dark. Plus, he's really old now. Well, anyway, that's just a few things that I've experienced. Lon says, I wrote to the witness and received the follow-up reply. Okay, so I just spoke to my grandfather and asked him about the time my cousin and I saw the cowboy on the ranch that disappeared. My grandpa said, yep, he remembers, and there was also the story that he had told us as kids. People would cross the border from Mexico into Texas, and sometimes they'd cross through my grandfather's ranch and when making their journey. My grandpa has a water pump type of thing out there on the ranch, and back in the day, he used to leave it for people who were crossing to be able to drink out of so they wouldn't die of dehydration. One time he came across a man and a woman who were drinking from it, and he asked, of course, who they were and what they were doing on the property, and they said they were told by the other man they could drink from here. My grandfather was confused and said, what other man? There's no one else here. It's my property. They said, in Spanish, of course, the vaquero pointed us here. Vaquero means Mexican cowboy. My grandfather said he never figured out who they were talking about and never saw anyone else out there, but he knew his ranch was haunted. This was years and years before we had the experience with the cowboy. Wow. How's that for freaky, huh? Woo-wee. Craziness here on the portal, folks. But that's what you get. You get a whole bucket of fun. 2 hours of fun just flew by. I hope you guys had a good night. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you all for being here and being part of the journey. As always, it's a sincere pleasure to do these shows with you. And I hope that you guys continue to come check out the portal. Continue to spread the word if you wouldn't mind. And continue to reference the show. Share these streams on your social media. That's one of the biggest ways to help. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me a ton. Feel free to put links on your social media if you think people might enjoy it, or in groups that you belong to where they cover the paranormal. If it's okay with the group. I mean, I don't want you like pissing people off with my shows, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I think it's great when you guys try to help and support the growth that I have had. Is largely because of all of you guys. I don't advertise the shows. I just recently started doing YouTube shorts and started posting a little more on TikTok. I do have a TikTok. I have a YouTube. I have an Instagram. So there's different ways to catch up a little bit about the shows. But thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey and for all your love and support. Thank you to those of you who are leaving comments when the shows aren't live and you're just watching them. It really means the world. So your support is amazing, and I wouldn't be where I am now without you guys. So thank you for that. I'll be back maybe Wednesday. I think, well, Sheldon is here, so maybe he can actually join me on Wednesday for a live show, but we'll see. Since he's in town, it might be a little more sporadic. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing or not doing, but, you know, I don't get him out here too often, so I hope you understand if we don't have a live show on Wednesday. But I think we will. Let's see, anything else? That's about all I can think of right now, but thank you again, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Enjoy the hell out of it. The thunder seems to have moved on, so we made it through the thunderstorm. What little bit of it there was here. Happy Easter, everybody, or Happy Ostara, or, you know, whatever you celebrate. Celebrate however you celebrate it. Just enjoy yourself. Take time, be close with the ones you love, and celebrate the days. You never know how many you're going to get, so that's about it. That's about all I got for you guys. So thank you again, and remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other and help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. If you're looking for more information about the shows or about the podcast, remember there is a podcast available everywhere. It's a different show than what you just watched, but just look for Paranormal Portal on all of the podcasting applications. Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Castbox, Stitcher, Pandora, Podbean, etc. So there's lots and lots of them. Thank you, Josh Casto. Josh remembered. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Rachel, for posting that link, paranormalportal.net. If you want to email me for any reason, please feel free to send an email to paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and that's how you can get a hold of me. I appreciate it a bunch, guys. That's it. That's all I got. Take care. Love you, mean it. And watch for the shorts. Please support those and give them likes if you see them. I'm just trying to spread the word as much as I can and help the community continue to grow. And thank you to all of our YouTube members. That really means the world. Remember, I do have a Patreon now. There isn't a lot on there yet. I've got 3 Patreon members. So if you go over to Patreon and look for the Paranormal Portal, you should find it. Again, I'm not begging or pleading, but if you're able to help, awesome. Thank you. It goes a long way into keeping everything growing and keeping the lights on here in the studio. So that's what I got for you tonight. So you guys take care. And I'll be back probably Wednesday, but in the coming week at any point. So take care, everybody. I'm going to roll the credits. Good night.